Right.
Hey everyone, Liz here, and I'm here with Kelly, and we're here with our guest for the Alternative Medicine, Nutra, and Pharmaceutical Group. All right, and we're here with Eilene, who's going to talk to us about some homeopathy and other things. How are you, Eilene?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. It's a beautiful day. So,
Yes, yes. So what we're going to do
um,
is instead of asking you questions, we discussed this previously, we're just going to let you go.
all right, I'm ready.
Yeah, go for it.
So, my background, I am a registered pharmacist. Um, I was educated in Wayne State and Michigan, Detroit, and I'm really very proud of that education. I had four kids and I homeschooled three of them. So, very busy. And through my career and with taking care of my kids, Um, I also went back and got certified as a consultant pharmacist, which specializes in nursing homes. And that's a big passion of mine is taking care of the elderly. And then I became certified in clinical homeopathy and also started educating myself more about essential oils and belief systems and body work and also supplements because people come to the pharmacy all the time asking about supplements. What can I get? I can't afford that. So um, I'm really proud of that education, and it really helps me um, just help people better. Because I had a friend recently, and I made her a substance with a compound with DMSO, which is a dimethyl sulfoxide, and coconut oil for her to treat an internal scar tissue because it was causing her problems. And so I don't know if I would have, if I did have a pharmacy brain, if I could have done that. So it's kind of neat. So anyway, talk a little bit about pharmacy. And I feel like the medicines that are behind the pharmacy are under lock and key for a reason. And that's because they're not safe. They're safe if they're used properly, but you just don't need a prescription every time you go to the doctor. We really need to have um, people look within themselves or their environment to try to prevent disease and try to cure or heal their problems. And then if it doesn't work, then maybe proceed to a pharmacy. But I think we've gotten kind of so far down the road that we are not able to monitor our own body and sense, oh, I just ate that hamburger and I'm tired. Well, maybe that hamburger took your energy instead of giving you energy. So I think that we're going to start repurposing how we think about relationships to thought and food and environments. So anyway, um, let's see. So every substance has a possible reaction to it, a side effect, such as salt can cause water retention, you know? So it, it gets complicated when you take a lot of medication. So I started retooling myself when patients were coming in and they were suffering and I couldn't help them and they were still taking the same thing and it just wasn't working. So I started taking classes in Chicago. I live in Michigan, but I started taking classes in Chicago with the Center for Education and Development of Homeopathy. And they teach clinical homeopathy. And I found it fascinating. But that was part of my journey. And the other part was studying frequency medicine. So I kind of like to mention that a little bit first. Um, because when you go into a room and you don't belong there, it doesn't feel good. I mean, it's like an auditorium or, a group of 100 people and you just don't feel good. And then you go into the next room and it's like everybody loves you and you feel good. And that truly is the notion of frequency. One room matched you and one room didn't. And I think that that is important that we start to look at that situation. So then there's another thing about frequency that I like to use this as a way for people to apply it to themselves. And when they make is kind of really out there, but it will make sense, I promise. So when they make lab generated gemstones, they are manufactured and they are made by taking a container that looks like a kiln, and then they add some substrate to it and they plug it into the wall and they put in a seed stone. And then they close the lid and days go by, and then they open it. They have a whole bunch of gem manufactured gems because of that seed stone. And I think that's kind of an important part of frequency, because when we actually use a thought as a seed, or a homeopathic as a seed, we are actually using a frequency to retrain our body. We are the kiln. We can put in the right amount of water and the right substances of health and fruits and vegetables and healthy thoughts, and we can change our future because we're changing our frequency. And whatever our frequency is will be matched by the universe. So if you are in a state of unhappy and you continue to be that more than 51% of the day, you're probably generating more unhappy. So it's a real opportunity. And it's not like I have this right, people. Okay. I struggle. I'm human. And I think we're all in this together. But a smile goes a long way. So there we go. So as far as homeopathy, homeopathy at high dilutions, in my opinion, is a frequency. And any dilution that is greater than 12C no longer has a molecule of the substance in it and cannot be identified to the original product. That doesn't mean that there's not something there, because every time they do a dilution, they actually shake it, which is kind of like adding energy. They call it succussing. And then they just keep on diluting it more. So, let's see. I think my opinion is, when it comes to homeopathy, the most important part is not what dilution you have, but that you have the right medicine. And that takes time. It's not a quick, here you go, you need an antibiotic. It's not like that. Two people that are twins could have the flu, and one could be craving cold water, and the other one just wants to be wrapped in warm blankets, because they require different medications. So there's that. So I had a little chart that I had sent to Liz.
Yep, we got it.
Okay. And so it is right here on the screen. And I think one of the first things you can think about is most people fall into these three different categories of shape from the time they're little. Like you could see a little Danny, like the center one would be like Danny DeVito. And then maybe the long, tall one would be like the woman that played Pretty Woman.
Julia Roberts.
And yes, thank you. And then the other person is the calcarea floric, and that's a real bendy person. They have a lot of laxity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this after the video goes up, and that way people can say, well, which body type am I? And then they can try the medicines that align with their body type. And they would only be using like 5 or 10 of the 30C once weekly, because the more dilute, it's opposite of like a normal pharmacy. The more dilute, the more powerful and deeper the medicine works. So I'll explain that in a way. It took me a long time to get that. It's more like if you suggest to somebody, you have to do this, and they just look at you and they fight with you. Now, I'm not saying teenager, but if you make a suggestion or they hear the suggestion from people that they don't know, they're more likely to think about it and maybe take that suggestion. And I think our bodies are kind of the same way. You shove something in it and it kind of throws it back at you. It wants to be treated gently. So homeopathic remedies in these higher dilutions are very gentle, and they literally make a suggestion, and they can be profound. So anyway, I'm going to go back to my little chart. The calcarica phospherica is typically somebody who has intellectual burnout. They get fractures, bone and joint issues. They have a lanky body, and they grow fast. The calcarica carbonic is typically stocky, has metabolism issues, intelligent, and generally lacking stamina, and does have polyps sometimes. And then the calcarica florica is that bendy person with elastic issues, such as ptosis, which if I'm on the screen, you can see my eyelids tend to drop down, and varicose veins. So it's connective tissue that kind of sag. So yay me. So
Eilene,
anyway,
Eilene,
yeah.
what do the Calcarea series do for you when you take them?
So they're going to support your, I'm going to call it terrain or your body type. It's going to prevent some of these things that could happen. Okay. Because you're actually addressing it prior to it becoming a problem. Okay. So that's the point, you know. Yeah, I think it's helpful. I've suggested the one for the calcarica phospherica for some woman that her daughter was a fast grower and she was having headaches, and it kind of fit right in and she had benefit from it. And I don't want my kids taking medication for headaches because then they could get a GI bleed. You know, I mean, let's try to prevent problems. And once you find out what your body type is, you will not need to ask anybody because you already know what you're going to respond to. So it takes a little time, but it's well worth it. Okay.
Yes, Eilene, I was going to ask also, in general, when someone starts homeopathy, is there a time lag? Does it vary when people start to see a health or healing effect when you take them?
So it depends on the strength or the dilution. So a dilution that is like 6C really is pretty much the substance. Okay. And that one you would use if you were to draw a T right now, and on the top left-hand side, you would put 6C and you would say tissue. And let's say you have a problem with the tissue, and I'm looking for my notes because I wrote that all out and I can't find it on the table. I had a little, oh, here it is. Okay, so in case of something like a 6C, let's say a woman says, oh, I'm having a problem with my Achilles tendon. And so that's a pretty specific place. And I know that Hector lava, which is made out of lava rock, actually works on that tendon. So I would tell her to take that. And I would tell her to take it in 6C. And the effect could be within 15 minutes. I had a judge in Florida who I sent him medication for his shoulder. And he called me and he said, Eilene, how long will it take to work? And I said, it could be instantaneous. And he said, it was. I'm going to call my son. He's a surgeon. He needs to know this. Isn't that funny? So, pardon me.
Okay, we're approaching. We got another minute, and then Julie's here, and so we'll move on with Julie. But thank you, Eilene. That was a really great presentation.
Let me go through
You
this
have one
other
final
part.
comments?
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
Eileen?
go ahead and finish. You're fine. You're fine.
Thank
Just
you.
letting you know.
Thanks. So Then on the right-hand top corner of that chart, that T, you would put in sensations. And sensations like, I feel pelvic heaviness. Then you would use a 9C and you use sepia. Now, let's say you at the bottom left-hand side, you'd want to put, modalities. What makes it better? What makes it worse? And you'd say, well, anything that helps with blood flow makes it better. Then you would take the sepia in a 15C. And then, it kind of goes on. It's not an easy thing to like, oh, I'm going to study homeopathy today and I'm going to know it. You build on your knowledge. And there's something called the chronic reactional mode, which is like somebody comes out and their baby and they have cradle cap and they have eczema. That's their chronic reactional mode. Then you also have the sensitive type, which is more like you're a redhead and you have a protruding lip. There's certain drugs that you'd use in homeopathy that helps with that. So I guess I will end it with that. I'll add this other thing. Homeopathies can be used, made out of minerals, plants, animals, and even excaudate of a disease, where they'll scrape that off and make a homeopathic out of it. It's full of antibodies. And then if somebody has that disease, they would give them that. Those are considered prescription only when they're from an excaudate. So thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share my passion. And I hope everybody goes out there today and has a fantastic day and spreads joy and love to each other. Thank you.
That's great, Eilene. And feel free to put your contact information in the chat and we'll also list it below, or feel free to list it below the comments when we post this.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear, so much.
Thank you. I've learned so much because I have sold the remedies here and there when I worked in different health food stores and such, but we never got an education about it. So I really learned a lot from you today, and I really appreciate that. And I'm going to go back and listen to this in reference and learn some more. So that was very helpful.
I'd like to do more for the group at some point. Okay.
Great. Okay. Yeah. Great. Keep that in mind for sure. We need educated.
Yeah.
And we like it. We like being educated. Yeah. Thank you so much, Eilene.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And Julie's here. Hi, Julie. You could unmute yourself if you like.
You're on mute, dear. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Julie.
Julie, you're back on mute. I'm not sure what happened, but if you want to come off mute.
For me, it's at the top, on the top.
All right, I've done it.
Hi.
There you are. Hi, Julie.
Hi. Hi, Mr. Kelly.
Welcome.
And hi, Liz. I've been watching you a lot coming to the meeting. Sometimes, though, I may not make any comments, but I've been following up some of the meetings. So I'm happy to be here today to talk about the supplements.
Yes, please do. Talk to us about what you offer, not only for sale, but the other businesses that you have going as well.
Okay. All right. So my name is Juliana Panaire Harry. I'm from Nigeria, though I was born in Ghana. I presently live in Ghana. And I'm into a whole lot of things, actually. I do so many things, and I have a lot of interests and seem to be stretching myself across the different things. So regarding the supplements, I fell into this field not intentionally, but I'm someone who is interested in supplements, in vitamins and all that, because I was brought up that way. My mom always watched out for, what you looked like, if you had energy and all of that. So she would always get supplements and make you take them. So I grew up in that way. And as time went on, we began to notice a lot of companies that came into the country, opening up or introducing different types of natural organic supplements. And so I would go try them out. And for one to be able to get it at affordable price, you have to either register to be a distributor or to get it more cheaply. So that was how I actually fell into the business of selling them as well. And I would introduce to family and friends. And that was how I got into the supplements. Now, looking at the way our foods have been depleted of their nutrients and all of that, it meant a lot of people are always feeling unwell. They will tell you, I'm not sick, but I have no energy. I'm not sick, I have no energy. And I'll say, well, do you take vitamins? Do you take multivitamin, minerals? You have to do that. And a lot of people don't take this, and it affects them greatly. So it became like part of my mission, my gentle mission, to watch out when I see somebody going through that kind of situation. I would remind them, are you taking any supplements to help? Some would say, those are medicines. So they don't want to take medicines. And I would say, it's not medicines. What you're eating gives you nothing. You actually eat to have energy. And whatever you're eating, look at you, you don't have energy. And then you find some parents scold their children like, you are a lazy child. And the child will say, I'm not lazy. And when I look, I just see that the child has lost energy. And then I would advise the parent to say, why don't you try giving this child some multivitamins or some multiminerals? Take the child to so-and-so place, let them check the child out. Some would say, oh, don't mind, the child is just lazy. So for me, that was how I got into the supplement business. And I'm very interested in them just because of one should feel well. And at the same time, I feel like we cannot continue to be taking supplements. At that time, I switched into the interest of energy healing. Though I don't know where to go for it, I didn't know how to approach that issue, but I knew a time will come when I would, find the pathway into energy healing. And so I think 2 months ago, from one of the meetings, the CHWE meetings, I heard the discussion on the Genius biofeedback energy device. And I was very interested. So I reached out to Mr. Kelly and I said, I'm interested in this. So I was able to connect with the website, with the doctor, Dr. Area, and was able to take the 14 days trial. And from the very first day, I was very amazed at the results because I was at that time feeling like I've lost my energy and I had a lot of pain on my body. Everywhere was just throbbing, aching like that. But after a few minutes of being on the frequency system, I felt strong. I felt some dizzy wave here and there, but I was really surprised. And going through learning the process, how it is used, I came across vitamin A, vitamin D, all the vitamins, the minerals, the enzymes, amino acids. And I said, whoa, everything is here. So my worry of, are we going to continue every day to be swallowing, to be drinking things externally to have energy? It seemed like, okay, so we can do this from the quantum energy frequency system. So that became one of my focus. I said, I would like to learn this properly so one can introduce it to others, to those in the medical field, and to those who sell supplements also to know about this. So this can be introduced to families. And this thing, a lot of people are actually tired of swallowing things or drinking something. It's like, can I not just get this energy? So I'm a spiritual practitioner and I do meditation a lot. So I think that has helped me over the years to be able to learn how to tap into the chakras, to pull in energy sometimes. Sometimes I feel like, is it working at all? You know, but it is an area as we have progressed into this new era where we are to tap into the natural energies of the planet and of source. Then I think, okay, it is really about time introducing the supplements in the quantum system, in the frequency systems, in the machines that are there for one to tap into that. So that is an area I am looking at, that I would like to train and specialize in a particular area, and then bring in the people in my community or those who are around me, introduce this to them so that we can move a little bit further from the physical material into tapping into energy, so that. And
Well, thank you for you. It's great to hear that you've been getting such great benefits from
yes,
the genius. Go ahead.
yes, thank you. And then regarding other businesses, I sell the vegetarian food products, and that also is something I sort of fell into. New people came into the spiritual practices and they needed to be vegetarian, and they don't know how to prepare the local foods or what to add to what. It's like you go off what you have to go off. And the other thing they knew about was mushroom. There is more to everything. It's not just mushrooms. And so it meant I had to go purchase these things and send to people. They'll send the money and I go get it and send to people. So that was how also I fell into the business of selling vegetarian organic products, And I'm also a singer. I write scripts for movies, and I sing as well. And all of these areas are departments, if I call it departments, that I would like to nurture as we go into the new era. A lot of things have to be done to introduce people into the new ways of doing things. And this can be done through film, through movies, introducing people into the new era. And I'm also into IT cybersecurity, which is IT auditing and compliance. And in this area, I would like to be able to partner with others so as to guide the community, the youth, and everybody. A lot of people think to go into cybersecurity, you have to be like a programmer, a mathematician, and you have to know a whole lot of science. That is what I also thought. And so I stayed away from it, even though I seemed to be pulled to it. But when the time came, I would say when Source arranged the whole thing to fall in place, I was able to push in and then was able to learn that there are so many niches in there. You don't have to be a programmer, you don't have to be a mathematician, you could go into the area of auditing, into compliance, into GRC, and ethical hacking, and so many other fields are there. And I noticed whenever I talked with the youth about cybersecurity, because I've noticed maybe that child or that person will do well there. And it's like, I don't know programming or this. People are scared of it. And so an area I would like to address or go into is how to reach the community, reach the youth, and be able to explain about the different niches that are in cybersecurity. And they can now pick and choose the areas they want to specialize in. So these are the things and more that I think I'm doing presently. And I'm also looking into exports these days, working on how to export the local foods to take abroad, because we have a lot of Africans now migrating heavily to across the world. And it means that a lot of food has to go out there to them because they keep calling home, send me this, send me that. So I'm seriously looking into all the corners of mini export, so that we can meet up with that as well. So these are some of the things I'm doing at the moment.
Oh, there's many, many great things you're doing.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
thank you.
Yeah, I am curious if your products you're considering the marketplace for much of this, because I know that it would be a great place for you to export to people around the world.
Yes.
Because we're coming up on another minute. Do you before the 15 minutes is up, do you have anything that you'd like to add, or how can we contact you?
Okay. I can be reached on Julie Harry 63 at yahoo.com. I have my business, Julie Enterprise, on Facebook. And I think if you type that, Julie Enterprises that does vegetarian products, import, export of vegetarian products, I think I will be found, but I'll get the links and give to you, please, Mr. Kelly. And I do have the Telegram links that I think I can also bring forward to you to share.
Yes. Julie, you can please put your information in the chat. I know you're getting reverb. I'm so sorry. And we can also post your information below the video that we post.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Now, folks, those who have questions, we wanted to ask that if you have questions, to ask them of Eilene first, because Eilene has to go back to class. But I don't know if there are that many questions, but go ahead and pop up your questions. That'd be great. Does anyone have any questions or comments for either guest?
You mean me?
Oh, I was asking everybody else here if they have questions of you or Eilene. But in a moment, if there are no questions, you can feel free to speak again, you and Eilene. Yeah. Anybody have any questions? All right. Well, Eilene, if you're listening, or Julie, if you'd like to come on and ask a question or make some more comments, feel free.
Okay,
I'm so sorry for your reverb. Yeah, okay, great. I'm sorry you have a reverb, Julie. I can hear myself in Africa.
Okay. It must be a situation with my phone, the speaker, I think.
Life happens.
Okay.
Simone, do you have a question? Yeah.
I have.
Yes.
Yeah, I put it in the chat actually. It doesn't have to be. I can also just answer it from the chat. There's something that I wanted to ask if you can find in Africa, in where you are in Ghana, because I'm interested in some of that.
Oh yeah, African mango powder.
I'm into nutrition,
Yeah, African mango powder. You said I'm seeing it now.
Exactly. Yeah. A very, very. Yes.
So Julie, do you know?
Anyway, yeah, I've been interested in the field of nutrition.
Yeah, Julie, if you heard her, do you know where she can get some dried African mango powder? Julie? You're on mute again. Sorry. There you go.
Right. I think I can look into that. African mango, as we call it in the native mango, we have a name for it here. So I can make inquiries to get the powdered one, yeah? Yeah.
Excellent. Simone, if you want to leave your Telegram handle or something like that, or post it, we can get, when we get the information from Julie, we can get it to you, Simone, or you guys can PM each other. Yeah. Julie, I was capturing your email. I have Julie Harry 63 at, what was it? The rest of your email?
Yahoo.
Yahoo, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to. Okay, so there's that. So that's in the chat.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And you have a YouTube a Telegram handle at Julie.
Okay. At Julie P.
Gotcha. Okay.
Julie P.
Gotcha. Beautiful. Anybody else have any questions? I have a quick story, and I want to say to the guests, you guys have been marvelous and so informative. I love listening to you, Julie, helping people in Africa get knowledge. And I love your advancement, which is, it's not just depleted food, it's supplements, but then it's not just taking pills, it's actually moving on to energy work. And I will tell you also, here's what Liz believes. I feel like at some point we'll be able to move beyond quantum biofeedback machines and energy frequency machines, because frankly, we are the frequency machines. No, we're the quantum, we're the solfeggio frequency. So I think as we raise our, I'm not saying that if you're not doing that, we're wrong. It's just, I do think that we can evolve there as a people, as a planet. If you need the frequency machines, I love it. If you want the supplements, at some point, we're the healers. And so I think it's wonderful to move up in energy and consciousness. I have felt in my life that all the things that mankind makes, all the trinkets, all the talismans, it's actually an example in 3D of what we can do with our minds and our consciousness when we're ready and able. So I wanted to leave you with that, but I want to tell a homeopathic story. Eilene had to leave, but I know homeopathic works, and I just have to leave this story. When my oldest son was 5, he developed a very terrible stutter. It was so bad. He was like, yeah! He couldn't talk. I was so distressed as a mom of my firstborn. I took him to my then naturopathic doctor, Chris Ryan. And he looked at me and said, Mom, it's your problem. It's you. And he gave me the homeopathic remedy. I went home and took it, and his stuttering was cleared. He speaks quite articulately to this day, and he's 30. But it was me that had the challenge. So it's frequencies for me to send frequencies to my son or fix the pattern between me and my son. So I wanted to share that very powerful story in my life. It blew me away. So thank you, everybody, for hearing Liz's story. Kelly, do you have anything to add? Anybody else have anything to add?
No, that just made me smile.
Yeah.
I'm just smiling real big from everybody's experience and expertise. I love getting to know about everybody. It's great. This is it's a passion of mine, is getting to know people. And yeah, I look forward to collaborating with everybody in the near future when the time opens up.
That's beautiful. Well, if there are no questions, we can close the call, and we'll post it. Anyone? Ferris Bueller? Anyone has any questions? Last minute or comments? Come off mute.
No, thank you, everybody. We appreciate you.
It has been such a treat and an honor to serve you this day. You are loved. So we will end the call now. I'm going to end the recording.